Hello everyone, my name is Awot, and today in Age of Mythology there was a new update. This update was simultaneously a huge win and a huge loss for me. The Aztec came out just 2 days ago and we're already getting a balance change. To no one's surprise, Volcano was nerfed, and some of the weaker Aztec powers were buffed and given some love, which is what we all wanted to see if they were listening to our feedback, which is cool. But there were some secret changes that happened during this update, and while it won't affect most players, it has been both super amazing and super sad news for me. So let me start with the important thing, which is the good news, and that is they added capybaras to the game. In my previous video where I was going over all the assets, I looked at the capybara and I noticed that it was treated like a panda and you couldn't really do anything with it. And I said in my previous video that it looked like it was meant to be a herdable, but it looks like they ran out of time. I noticed it didn't have a death animation and it didn't fatten up or anything. And you couldn't select it to your team unless you used a cheated version of the capybara. But if you used the cheated version of the capybara, you would realize it does have sound effects just like a herdable would. So it led me to theorize that it was meant to be a herdable, but they ran out of time. I think it was another Age of Empires game. I think it was Age of Empires 2 that had the capybaras as a herdable, which made me think that they were going to add the capybara as a herdable here. Well, today they finally did it. The capybara is now a fully functional herdable. It has 300 meat, so it's identical to the pig and the goat. And as far as I checked, it did not naturally spawn in any maps, although I haven't checked too hard. I just took a quick glance at the Aztec maps that didn't have turkey, and I saw goats still. But I can definitely see them replacing the maps with goats with capybaras in the future, because it doesn't really make sense for there to be goats in the Aztec region. Well, to be fair, it doesn't make sense for alpacas and capybaras either, because they're actually from South America and the Aztecs are more towards the Central America, but we're not going to talk about that. Thematically speaking, goats make way less sense and capybaras would fit those maps better, so I could see them replacing the goats with capybaras later. On the new Aztec maps, I do not use turkeys as their herdable, but even if they don't add it to the natural maps, I look forward to adding it to my custom maps, which you can see right now. You can see the capybaras are naturally spawning in my maps. It's funny because I just finished adding it to my maps as if it was going to be a panda situation, so now I have to undo that code and type new code as if it was an actual interactable herdable. But I have no complaints. I'm happy that they added the capybara to the game, even if it's only going to be a herdable in custom maps or custom scenarios. But yeah, if the Age of Mythology team is watching this, thank you so much. I love the capybara. I just thank you tons for adding it. I thought I was spoiled with them adding the turkeys, but they added another herdable now and just adds so much flavor to the game. But now let's move on to the tragedy. If you scroll through the patch notes, you may have seen this. To be honest, everyone's focused on the volcano nerf and some of the other changes, but they discreetly added this change and I sunk a little bit when I saw this. And that is they nerfed the grass. Now, you guys know me, whenever there was Aztec speculation, I was looking at the ground, and I can name just about any terrain in the game by looking at what shade of color it is. So whenever a new DLC gets added, the thing that I'm hyped for is looking at the ground, the trees, the animals, and seeing what kind of tools I can play with as a map maker. And for the past 2 days, I've been ecstatic in playing with the grasses they gave us in the most recent update. Previously, the Aztec grass were recolors of Egyptian grass, and the Aztec marsh grass was a recolor of the normal marsh grass. I'll be showing an infographic on screen right now of the comparison, but basically their grass had detailing and a little bit of extra detail on it. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting them to remove it, so I don't have better quality images, but the grass looked great. And today, in this update, I think for the first time, Age of Mythology has nerfed grass, and this has saddened me so greatly. They removed the details in the Aztec grass, and now the Aztec grass just looks like any other grass in the game, because we already have, like, 5 recolors of Greek grass, and I felt like we did not need more. So when I finally saw that we got a recolor of the only 2 unique grasses in the game, which are marsh grass and Egypt grass, I was ecstatic and over the moon. But now they've rug pulled that and taken that away from me, and I'm a little devastated. Although I know I'm probably the only one who even noticed, and the only one making a fuss over grass colors. And I don't mean to make a fuss, especially after they added something as sweet as capybaras to the game, which I'm still very much grateful for. But dang, the grass just looks so plain now. If you go to the maps, you may notice it too, that it doesn't have these details anymore, and the grass just kind of looks like average Joe grass. On screen, I'm going to show my new map that I showed off a few weeks ago that I said I was making, where it changes based on what character you're playing. So here's what it looks like if you pick Quetzalcoatl, and it looks like an average Joe grass map, in my opinion, right now. But yesterday, it was looking pretty fantastic when the grass had all that detail that made it different from normal grass. So after this video, I'm going to go and lobby for them to revert the grass, and hope they do. They don't have to revert both the grasses. Since the Aztecs have 2 grass, they can keep it so that one grass has the effect that they used to have, and one grass is normal-ish, like the current state. And then they can use the luscious grass on their more tropical maps, such as the Blood River map, or the Temple or the Jaguar Moon map, and keep the normal grass for their drier maps, such as Cloud Forest or Obsidian Ridge. And the Something Valley of the Serpent. These map names are getting really long. And I haven't even started on the marsh grass yet. The Aztec marsh grass difference is night and day. I absolutely love the detail that was included in the marsh grass previously. Like, I know this detail was also in the normal marsh grass, but because of the normal marsh grass having the same color as the detail, you hardly noticed it. Versus this one, its deep color made it very easy to notice this detail, and I really admired it. But yeah, that's what I'm up to currently. While the other Age of Mythology people are lobbying for their balance changes, I'm gonna lobby for them to unnerf my grass. What a strange adventure, and I won't cry if it doesn't get changed back, but it's worth to try. Let me know you notice this grass change and the loss of significant detail. It's okay, most people don't look at the grass, but as a map maker, this is pretty significant for me, so I'll definitely be trying to get it back. I wonder why they made this change. I'm not sure if they ever made a similar change this before where they changed the texture after the texture was added to the game. Oh, actually, I have a brand new solution proposed. They could just add the previous version as a new grass. But you know how I said these grasses are called like the blank grass 2? They could add the old version as a grass 3 because each grass is supposed to be more luscious than the previous one, so adding a third grass with the detail back would be fantastic. You can name it grass 3, and that way they can keep both the new and the old. But that's just me. I'm going to go ahead and lobby for that, and I will post it on both the Age of Empires forum and the subreddit, and I will also link that in the description if you guys want to check that out, or maybe even show your support on those posts and make a noise so they can see it. But yeah, that's all for me today. I know I seem kind of weird just ranting about grass. I'm not ashamed of it because it's what I do as a custom map maker for the game. It's how I find my enjoyment from the game. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this game is terrible or anything. This is just one decision. I was wondering if they could go back on it. If anything, I still love this game. If anything, I love it more now that they have Capybaras in the game. I'll keep playing it for years to come. Since Age of Mythology is just a timeless, lovely game, and I just love how it looks using its engine compared to Age of Empires 4. You know, but I thought I'd make a video on this just for fun since I'm probably like one of 2 Age of Mythology players who noticed this change, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask just in case. Just shoot your shot, and the worst thing they can do is say no. And they say no, I'm not gonna cry or lose sleep over it. It is what it is. But better to have tried than just accept the grass in its current state of being another addition to the giant pile of different shades of ordinary looking grass that we already have in the game. When instead we could have unique grass, and with my most recent solution, we can have both of those if they just add it as a new grass type. But yeah, that's it for this video. Yeah, I hope maybe one of you guys get a kick out of seeing a random person panic about grass on a random Thursday and decide that they should lobby for a change on grass detailing that hardly anyone notices. The war on grass on Thursday afternoon. Oh, what it is to be unemployed. But yeah, thank you for watching as usual, and have a great day. I'll be sure to link my posts lobbying for change in the description below once they're up.